Hello everyone and welcome to Reddit News Daily. Today we will be discussing relationship advice. So sit back and enjoy. My 28-year-old girlfriend, 27, keeps giving money to her family. Hi everyone, need some help with the situation here because I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years now and we are on the verge of getting engaged. We have been together for 5 years and we've both had difficult times financially. A few years back, I helped her get through a bad bank loan from her father, and from that moment, she managed to get herself back on track and now has a great job, and we both make a good amount of money. The problem is that her family and also mine have financial problems. My parents are still working and they're getting their own money, but sometimes they need help and they ask me, like once in 4 months. The amount is really small, like $100. The thing drives my girlfriend mad and she told me that they are working and they shouldn't ask for money. Now her family, parents and brother, they don't work at all and they ask her for money every month, like $300 and sometimes even more. Recently I learned that the father had another small loan that he wasn't paying and he was pressuring my girlfriend to help pay the money. The brother brought a new phone and with installments using her name as the person to contact, and she paid most of the installments. The family is asking for money for food and I agreed to give them monthly money until they get on their feet, but 3 years passed and they don't even try to find a job. They never applied for one and they are not afraid of anything because my girlfriend will cover for them. Today I learned that she was also giving money secretly to the family besides the amounts that I had just discussed before. I also, 1 month ago, we paid for their bills because they didn't manage to pay water and electricity. Her family calls her saying they have nothing to eat and she feels so bad and then will invite me with it. I really love her, but this is tearing everything apart and I'm afraid to give the next step because I think that if I have children in the future, we will be in trouble because I will also have her family to take care of. After OP posted the story, he posted a follow-up. I never expected this level of support and will help from a post online. Thank you guys. I cannot answer to all your comments, but I am reading them all and I will gather your feedback and act on it. I will keep you posted. Hey everyone, thank you guys for your feedback. I've read all the comments. We had a discussion the other night, and at first she was trying to shift focus or toss blame to me for the other things, but I stayed focused on the discussion. She understood how important it was for me and how serious I was being. She told me that she can't leave them to die. I told her to start cutting them gradually and to force them to start working by following up on their applications, and in the meantime we will buy groceries but without going to pay for luxuries. She agreed to let me handle the money in order to be transparent. I told her that if the situation will not improve, there is not much to do in the future. Even though she apologized and agreed to what we discussed, I will still have another discussion with her today to see if she truly understands the situation. Thank you everyone for your comments. Willow P., it sounds like you've taken the right advice. You sat down and you talked with your spouse and discussed the issues at hand, what's bothering you, and you've talked it out, and you managing money, being the transparent one, that's a really good thing. So I wish you all the best in the future, and I do think this is going to work out. So congrats, and I hope you two live a long, happy life together. Our next post is by Andrew ASFSE. My girlfriend, 23-year-old female, always asks me, 27-year-old male, to let her know if I'll be unfaithful, and it infuriates me. I have never cheated on someone, never had the desire to. It's just easier to end it, in my honest opinion. She, at the other end of her last relationship, was still seeing her ex and later found out that he has also been sleeping with the girl she didn't need to worry about. It's been a little under 2 years since then. I am a physical therapist. I trained a lot of young, attractive women. There is no one attractive enough for me to lose all my professionalism and my career over. She will regularly say something to the effect of, "If you fall in love with someone else, please just make sure I know first. I don't want to look stupid. Do you promise to tell me first?" I have no desire to be with someone else. Can't imagine changing that. The first time she asked, fine. The second time, fine. The third time, you ask me this a lot. The answer hasn't changed. The fourth time, I'm not going to cheat on you. Well then, just say it. Despite the fact that I have said it several times, today I more or less said, it's starting to feel like an attack. Like you don't trust me. Like I'm not worthy of your trust. It feels like you're trying to give me an open door to cheat or leave you. I don't need the door. I don't want to cheat on you. Answering this question is beginning to feel really insulting. She didn't take it well. She said she's not going to come with me when she needs reassurance now. Seems consequential to me. I now feel like a butthole and worry she won't bring her concerns to me. How do I allay this question because it is such a non-issue in my mind? It is like her asking me to warn her before I dye my lawn purple. It's not going to happen. OP, sounds to me like you need to have a sit down and very serious talk with her on why she keeps asking you this question. Go to a nice restaurant, place that she won't get loud and yell, or you won't yell and get loud, and get to the bottom of why she feels the need to keep asking this question. Because there's obviously something that she's not telling you, and it might not be something you want to hear, but then again, it may be something you do want to hear. I mean, who knows? Right now, if she's asking this, I just can't understand a reason why someone would want to do that. Our next post is from Throwaway 302720. I, a 27-year-old female, have a boyfriend, 29, says I'm being an unsupportive girlfriend because I won't go to his Weed Anonymous meeting, even though he knows I don't have addiction issues and don't agree with the religious overtones of the 12-step program. I just want to first mention that my boyfriend is 7 years clean and I couldn't be prouder of him. I've only been with him for a month, but after seeing photos of him when he was at his worst, it makes me so happy that he's healthy today. So, now for the post. My boyfriend and I have been together for over a month. When we first met, he told me that he was a recovering addict and that he's been clean from drugs for nearly 7 years. Having little to no experience with addiction, I told him that I fully support him and to let him know how I can help him. I do my best to make sure he feels safe and welcome to my house, where my housemates partake in recreational activities, needless to say. My housemates are awesome and are willing to accommodate their cannabis habits for my boyfriend. This means they smoke outside and don't leave edibles out in the common space. Honestly, this has been the best month for me. I'm super happy in my relationship and we get along well. Yesterday, however, my boyfriend asked me if I would join in on one of his bi-weekly Weed Anonymous meetings. Since it runs like Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a religious and sharing component that I don't feel comfortable about. I asked my boyfriend if I had to share my experience with everyone, and he told me he thinks it'd be good to open up and share. He then added that it'd be nice to have more support in the group. I told him that I don't believe that this would be appropriate since I support the legislation of weed and don't agree with the narrative that it's bad. I also told him that because I don't have any addiction to weed, my experiences would only be positive. I also told him that the 12-step program makes me very uncomfortable since I'm not religious. My boyfriend told me that he's not religious but goes to church every Sunday but believes in a higher power. I told him that religion isn't part of my life and that the submission of God part of the prayer in the group made me feel uncomfortable. I did not tell him that I get culty vibe from the 12-step program model, but I think he got the gist of it. After telling my boyfriend why I don't feel comfortable going, he became upset with me. For the first time in our relationship, he said that I'm not being a good, supportive girlfriend. I feel like I am, but now I feel awful that he's upset with me. A part of me feels like going to make him happy, but the idea of me going to a meeting whose principal values I don't agree with doesn't sit well with me. Not to mention, I've never had any problems with addiction. Any advice on how to make my boyfriend feel supported without me sacrificing my own identity? Sorry if there's confusion regarding if I partake in the recreational activity. I do not, since I get regularly drug tested. I used to partake years ago, but now I don't. I've told my boyfriend that I haven't done recreational activities in years, since that was important when we started dating, but I have told him I have supported the legislation of weed. OP, there's no real reason why this needs to be made into a major issue unless your boyfriend is making it into a major issue. The 12 steps is not religious in a way. A higher power can be anything. It could be God, it can be a desktop computer, it could be a book, it could be a song, it could literally be anything. My father is a recovering alcoholic, and after 42 years of hard drinking, hard living, drugs and alcohol both, and 17, I think it was more like 7 different institutions for suicide attempts, but he finally got the help he needed, and he's in the 12-step program. But it's not all about religion. His higher power is his family. So, aside from that, I've been to an AA meeting for family Al-Anon that deals with family members with alcoholism. And it does seem to have a little culty vibe. But I go to support them, and no, I don't share. As for weed, I'm on medical marijuana, so it's a great thing to have because it helps my anxiety. But what I would suggest is talk to him, see if you can go support him in a way that doesn't involve you talking about you in your past, and worry on the future, because if this is your first real argument, then this is easily solvable. Just help him out in the way you can. Our last post is from HRH Prince, Michigan. My fiance, female 23, admitted to me she's been lying and gaslighting me. It's a ramble, but I think the story needs the nuance for it to make sense. So we've been together for 2 years, doing long distance. The first year was tough, including 2 very rough patches where we nearly broke up. She has this habit of, during an argument, threatening to break up or asserting that this isn't gonna work, or maybe you meaning me, should date just someone else. And this happens regardless of how trivial the disagreement is. Whenever there's any sort of disagreement or criticism, she closes up, refuses to hear me, and accuses me of constantly criticizing her, and would say that I, as her significant other, shouldn't criticize her because it's unhealthy and will make her want to date someone who doesn't criticize her. For fuller context, our arguments are rare. I do not constantly criticize her, and we're genuinely, absolutely happy as a couple, providing we're not arguing. And having said that, this past year, has seen us improve on how we handle the arguments. But last night, my fiance dropped a series of revelations on me. The two most important being are: 1. During those rough patches, she contacted her exes so she'd have a backup plan in case we broke up, saying stuff like, "I may be single soon," and "I miss making out with you." A month ago, she came to the conclusion that her behavior during our arguments is gaslighting. Now, the first one hurts because literally a week before this happened, she was reassuring me that I was special, and this was the first relationship where she didn't fear commitment and didn't have a string of guys on standby as a safety net. Turns out she did fear it, and she did have that safety net. It starts to feel hypocritical when I remember that when we first met, I wasn't looking for a long-term commitment. I was hoping for a brief but real summer romance fling because this girl was incredible, but she would be flying home soon. And while I was tired of sleeping around, I wasn't keen to jump into a long-distance relationship, having recently had one crumble a few months prior. But she pressured me into committing to her, hinting that our love wasn't real if there was gonna be an expiration date, her flying home. When I expressed uncertainty about whether we'd stay together after that, she'd roll her eyes and say some offhand remark about not being sure if I really loved her. I eventually took the risk and committed. Later, put a ring on her finger, sunk thousands of pounds into plane tickets and gifts and food. I don't regret this at all. The risk paid off. But now I found out that, even after making me feel bad for not wanting to commit all the way to the hilt, she still had her commitment issues. When we started arguing about something trivial after she left, the arguments escalated and it suddenly became potential relationship ending. Instead of actually talking with me about it, like a damn adult, she sensed the ship sinking, as she put it, and lined up her little exes ready to catch her if she fell. The second revelation is kind of haunting because I've always been too scared to put a word to what she was doing. Yes, I noticed it. Yes, it worried me. Yes, I fought it and tried to have reasonable discussions with her. But her gaslighting has got to a point where even the very suggestion that she might be mad at me or that an argument might be brewing gives me real anxiety. I start worrying that this might be the one that breaks us up. I start to go over all the mistakes I made in the past, wondering which one she's going to point out as evidence that I'm always criticizing her or that I'm better off dating someone else. And I can't relax when I'm like this. I need to know what's wrong. I need this argument resolved as soon as possible, because I'm scared that if I step away from my phone or I go to sleep, I'll miss a text that informs me of a breakup. My current position is that these things aren't worth leaving her over. I'm really hurt and I'm angry about I miss making out with you messages, but I've forgiven her, and I'm glad about the gaslighting thing because it validates my experience, and I don't feel like an awful person for questioning the kind of power she has over me when we argue. I guess I just need a second opinion from some strangers. I love this woman, and she's scarred from abuse by those exes and her family. While I don't agree with her actions, I understand why she did them. I've asked for some space for a day to not text or call while I sort my feelings out because I don't want this to become a grudge. I don't want this to be lingering anger. I want to get over it and move on. But I'm suppose the real question am scared to ask you guys girls is, am I making excuses for an abuser? Am I making a mistake by staying with her? Am I standing my ground in every stupid argument that escalates to me where we should break up? Sorry about the rambling. Thanks in advance, guys. OP, for the simple fact that she's gaslighting you, and anytime you criticize her or critique her or talk to her and she always pulls out the line, well, maybe we should break up. And she has other exes that are lined up. This is a red flag warning in several ways. First of all, she is abusing you. Anytime an argument starts, whether it's not really an argument but just a discussion of differences of opinion, she'll turn it into an argument, or it'll work its way to an argument, and she can use these things because she's sounds very manipulative in many ways. Now, I know you love her, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to tell you about a long distance relationship I was in. Now, at the time, I lived in central USA, and for this woman, I moved to the West Coast. I got the house, I had to get a new vehicle, and I have children. So, and all that, we argued all the time, and we had been married for 9 years. And the arguments in the last 7 to 9 years were just some of the most stupidest arguments, just over anything and everything. And I overheard her one night talking to her friend who was suggesting that the plan wasn't going according to action because she wanted me to move out to Australia to be with her in Melbourne and leave my daughters and let my mother raise them. And there was no way that was going to happen. So, simply put is, try couples counseling. If that doesn't work and that starts another argument, then I feel you're in for a lifetime of hell, and you might want to consider ending it. If you like this video, please click the subscribe, hit that bell to get notified when I post a new Reddit video, which is every day.